Hey, good morning, TNT. It's Monday morning, the start of a new work week here in Sweet TNT. My name is Joe Villafana. Abia Jackson alongside me. This is a cup of Joe.
It's true. It's true. Villafana man.
Action Jackson. That's
You're the new superhero of mid-morning TV. I was saving that one, but I thought about it over the weekend. And I said, yes, I need to tell him that on Monday. You're welcome.
Thank you, Abia Jackson. To more serious matters as we proceed on the show. I listened back to Faye and Lions and Bunchy Garland. It was Foodie Friday a couple of weeks ago when we had them on. Our first week. First week. Faye and Lions is such a
force,
an
entity,
a deep sister. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just did.
Yes.
So
yes.
I listened back, and only when I listened back, I heard what she was saying.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that you didn't understand what she was saying, but it resonated a little bit deeper when you listen to it again.
I pulled out 3 phrases, and I'm talking about she spoke about these 3 phrases at different points of the interview. She was speaking about something. She said, delete distraction.
Indeed.
She said, in your life, delete distraction. You know the delete button, sometimes we just press it.
And sometimes it's as literal as that.
It's as literal as that.
Delete it off your phone, delete it off of social media.
Delete distraction.
Yes, sometimes it is that literal.
She then said, be you, but be you smart.
I remember that one.
That hit me. See, this girl is a philosopher.
But she's definitely learned from life experiences.
She has.
She's learned from life experiences.
She had one more. She said, it's not what you are called.
It's what you answer to.
It's what you answer to.
That's right.
And that was, I think, when she was talking about all the critics out there. And she said, it's not what you're called, because people will criticize you, whatever, people will talk.
That's right.
But it's what you answer to.
Which is why I have grown quite fond of your little nickname for me.
Action Jackson?
I have.
You've grown fond of it?
I've grown fond of it. Yeah. I admit, on national TV. That's fine.
Okay, you're an action girl.
And that's just it. I feel like a lot of people get stuck. And inaction can be the death of you in so many ways. It kills creativity. That whole process of feeling like you're just marching time in one spot, whether it's in your career, in your relationships. So we should be about action, Positive action too. So yes, this is where Cup of Joe comes in. We try to do our little bit to help with, inspiring positive action. So we listen to people's life stories. So let's take a peek at what's inside of our cup. Brought to you by
Ronnie Flatbread.
There we go. This morning we're going to be chatting with a gentleman who has done some amazing things. He has a beautiful voice, very suave, very talented. Anslem Douglas, he's back in TNT and he's getting ready to take the soca and music industry by storm.
He is?
He is. So we're going to be listening to what he's been up to for the last 20 years. You realize he's been in Canada for 20 years. I missed that.
I didn't realize
I really didn't miss that.
I'm looking forward to catching up with him.
Yes. So we're going to be chatting with him. And then we're going to be talking about the hows and whys of self-defense inside of our expert segment. Wow. Wow. So yeah, we're actually going to leave the demonstration to Cheyenne, for the real folks. Mr. Thompson, as well as one of the demonstrators. We have a surprise for you. Do you want to reveal the surprise as to who is one of the demonstrators are? Last name Hunt.
You give it to me.
I did. No, I didn't because I didn't say the first name.
It's only one Hunt that will demonstrate.
So yes, actually Gary Hunt is going to be one of our demonstrators as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun, Joel. I am looking forward to seeing them demonstrate on you.
Demonstrate on me? I'm not sure I'm going to allow that. Self-defense is a serious thing.
It is.
And I'm looking forward to them pitching exactly why self-defense and how self-defense.
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. As well as we're also going to be chatting with Kevin Fodringham inside of Cup for a Cause. He's representing PSI.
Looking forward to learning about that.
A great organization that's all about advocacy for various communicable and non-communicable diseases.
I think what we can tell people is got it, get it. For those who remember
if it rings a bell.
If it rings a bell, got it, get it.
PSI was responsible for that. And then, of course, we bring up the rear with our spoken word spotlight.
Spoken word spotlight. That's coming up inside A Cup of Joe. Of course, it's all brought to you courtesy Rani Flatbread. We're taking a short break, folks. When we come back, we share a cup with Anslem Douglas.
Who let the dogs out?
All right.
And you kissing me on my shoulder as I tell you I love you, and you say you love me too.
But I am restless, and I question, what about the man? Woe is man. Because little boys could be gyrating on Soca Monarch stage and getting real rating.
Could make some Trini favorites any day with Rani Flatbread. You give some tomatoes a roast, cook in oil and seasoning, 5 minutes at most. Give Rani a light toast, fill with choker, and be an epic host.
Now that's a Rani good idea.
One morning, Peter walked out to find every flower that he never stopped to notice. Every sunrise that he never watched, every football match he forgot to play with his son, and arrived at a cafe to find every conversation he never had with his father. And it was only then that Peter finally decided to wake up. Wake up to life. Nescafe. Nestle. Good food, good life.
We're the one who's always there to help you all of the way.
Systems that work for you as you live life each day. We're the one who makes it easier to.
We give personal attention, so make this your selection.
And let's get this Monday morning off to a fantastic start. It's time to share a cup. I'm sharing a cup with a gentleman that has been popping in the 80s, 90s, and then he disappeared off the scene just a bit. Soca artist, jazz artist, composer. He started singing in church. I'm talking about the man they call Anslem Douglas. Good morning, sir. Good morning. You started to sing in church, Anslem. I read that this week, and I said Anslem Douglas, like many, I suppose, singers, songwriters, started in Sunday school in church.
And you know what? It's one of those places where you could blossom.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed to grow and experiment. You know, and I started singing in a little church in Army, a Pentecostal church.
Yeah.
And
you're a South boy.
South boy, yeah. Original South boy. You know, and I did a little choir, which is, you know, I think is a really nice discipline.
Yeah.
You know, you have to hold on a particular part, you know. So I was in the choir, and then I broke off and I started my own little group in church.
Right.
You know, and I can't say I started it. A bunch of us came together and decided, let's start this little band called Exodus. And we did pretty well as a little church group.
I wonder sometimes how does one transform from singing in church
to telling 40 people jump and wave. I know.
And jumping on a massive carnival stage.
It was a bit difficult for me because I remember performing at a band called Firefly years ago.
Yes.
And in those days, the January 1st fete used to take place on the tennis court.
Right.
You know, because and that was a big fete.
That was a big fete then.
Now we can't hold a christening there. But, and I was on stage and stuff, shirt and pants, and because I came from that.
Right.
You know, so I am singing.
Yeah.
And then one time, Robin Imamsha told me, he said, "You're singing too much, man. You know, because I'm singing and holding notes and jumping wave, jumping.
And you're singing too much.
I was singing too much. I was singing too much for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because soca became a very attack music.
Yes.
You know, and I was just doing too much of the vocals and all that stuff. You know? So it was a little transition.
Drink something with me. What do you like to have?
I'm a kind of a wine guy. You know?
You're a wine guy?
I like
white or red?
I'm a red boy.
Red. A glass of red wine. And so you transformed into a soca artist back then. And that then was what propelled you? Was that your passion then to move into that genre?
Well, even before I started singing in church as a little boy home, you know, you're listening to the radio. Those days, there are 2 stations. You know, we're talking about 610 Action Radio and Radio Trinidad, Radio 70. Right? And you would listen to people like Sparrow and Kitchener, because a lot of people wasn't recording.
Right.
But they would hear Duke and Sparrow and Kitchener and some of the guys, Bomber and these guys, you know, and you try to mimic them.
Right.
You know, and I would tell, I could sing like Sparrow, you know, I could sing like Kitchener, you know, so you mimic these guys, you know. So music and calypso music was always something that, I mean, born in Trinidad, you know. So coming over into this soca world, outside of the transition from church to soca calypso, it was a wonderful experience. It is a wonderful experience just doing it there.
Raga Pum Pum. Who Let the Dogs Out? Some of your big hits.
The big songs, Jump and Mash Up the Party.
Jump and Mash Up the Party.
Rock Back on It.
Right.
When I Did Bury My Clothes.
When I Did Bury My Clothes. Yeah, that was a good one. Who Let the Dogs Out? You won a Grammy for?
Yeah,
I believe.
Grammy Award-winning songwriter.
A Grammy Award-winning songwriter. There was some controversy surrounding that. Is that all settled and
yes, it is. Yeah? It is. But let me tell you something true. What happened is, a lot of people think that the Baha Men who made the song internationally famous.
Yes.
We had a beef. We had no beef. We never had a beef. In fact, they invited me down to the Bahamas. We went down there and, you know, had some conch soup and conch. You know, it was good. What happened is, the original producer of the song is where the controversy started.
Right.
Because when the song started to become big outside of the Caribbean with the Baha Men, of course, people started hearing chiching. So people started coming out of the woodwork. People said that I came in the studio with a poem and had no melody and all a bunch of crap. But as my lawyer said, where there's a hit, there's a writ.
Where there's a hit, there's a writ.
And you know what, all young artists, all artists out there, just think about it. We all want our music to be internationally and big and, you know, and all that's good. But you have to understand that this is not only show. This is show business. And a lot of times, artists like myself, we were all caught up in the show. You know, you're performing and your name calling and you're on a billboard and you're on posters. But there's a business aspect of that we should not push in the corner. It's very, very important to deal with the business, because if there's no business, there's no show. You know, so, but the thing with the Baha Men was always good, and, you know, record went on to go and sell, single went on to sell, I think, over 4 million. You know, went platinum, double platinum, triple platinum, multi-platinum. Was featured in about 5 major movies. You know, so it worked.
Was that your most? For me, yeah, because that was your most successful period.
Yeah,
that was the most successful period.
And to be honest, I don't think it was my best writing. I don't think Who Let the Dogs Out was the best song I ever wrote. But hey, it did the best for me. So sometimes what you're looking at and hoping, it doesn't work that way. From what I understand, Dollar Wine was a filler song on Taxi's album. And that became the big song. So sometimes the direction you're looking in is not where it's coming from.
Yeah. You then sort of mellowed out. Oh, that's the perfect phrase. You mellowed out. You mellowed out. Was that a purposeful mellow out? Did you just mellow out based on the business?
I migrated. I went to Canada to live, and now I know it's very difficult to be in a foreign country and produce. I don't know how Kitchener did it, because he was in London for years, God rest his soul, and selling music to Trinidad and winning Road March and too. You know, I was in Toronto. Different time. I was in Toronto and running into Trinidad and doing a record, and, you know, but it just wasn't doing anything. So people started asking me, stop singing about it. You know, and then after a while I did take a break, and I went into other stuff. I opened a grocery store in Toronto. And I became a big grocer and all that kind of thing.
Were you serious?
Yeah, I tried to dabble in some stuff, you know. And, but music always seemed to be coming back. I always going back to music.
So your mellow out, as you described, that Anslem, really happened when you migrated.
When I migrated.
And you weren't in touch with what was happening.
And you lose it. You lose that pulse. You lose the energy because Trinidad gives off a vibe. You have a vibe here. From the time them sliding doors open, Piaco Airport, you feel that vibe. We have an energy here that you don't find anywhere else. And it's a unique energy. And when you stay away too long, you lose the touch. You lose the pulse of the people.
Any regrets in terms of moving away from TNT? Should you have stayed in terms of where
I don't like to look back with regrets.
Yeah.
But if something is not working, you fix it. So that's why I'm back here now.
You're back here now?
I'm back here.
So you're back in Trinidad?
Back in Trinidad. Ship down and come down and everything.
Okay. And is it now that we can now expect Anslem Douglas
in
terms of 2015 and beyond?
And I've been seeing, since I've been back, I've been seeing where there is a buzz again. There is a buzz again. And it will take some time to get back there because there's a whole generation who don't know me. I mean, I've been abroad for 20 years. So there's a whole generation who they know of me.
Right.
I remember I was in a fete sometime and this guy come to me and say, Anslem, there's a big bonnet here on his face. Anslem, you don't remember me? No. You come up in my primary school. You call me up on the stage in your primary school. A big man now. So it's like 20 years gone. There's a whole generation of people who weren't born yet when I left in the fete now.
So is it that Anslem Douglas will now be rebranding himself in TNT?
Salute to that.
Yeah.
I'm back. And I'm going to give it everything because I have the experience. I know the hard work it takes. And we're going to do it.
You worked through Fireflight. I think you spent some time with Atlantic. So you were in that era of band music. Just compare it quickly to what you see now.
Well, we don't have a lot of bands anymore because I remember in Spectrum, where is now Movie Town.
Yes.
I remember we square off. It was Chandelier, Atlantic, Charlie's Roots. It was bands.
Musical bands.
Bands, and with horn sheets in front, score sheets, and people, bands, real bands. 15 people on stage, full big bands. And it was amazing because as one band. The next one strike up and it's because you have a time to play.
And what happened?
Technology happened. Technology happened, and now somebody could go in the studio and you get synthetic horns. In fact, they don't use horns in music again, hardly. You have drum machines. So the bands start getting smaller and smaller. And what happened to tour, to travel, it became very expensive for a promoter to take it to Sweden. 16 people on stage plus a sound engineer. A road manager. That become a big ticket. And they had to stay in hotels. So it became more and more expensive because your price going up, airfares going up. So what started happening is the band started chiseling down. The band started chiseling down and became smaller and smaller. Now we have on stage 4 people. That's the band.
And so when we come back, I want to take a short break. Well, I'd love to know if you think that hurt soca, or if it helped soca.
I'll let you know.
All right, we're coming back. We're sharing a couple with Anslem Douglas. We also find out what he's up to as he's back here in TNT. He's a jazz man, and he's going to give us a little jazz thing when we come back after this. We're taking a short break. Cup of Joe continues after this.
They are best friends. They share everything: experiences, moments, and adventures. They're always together. Protect them with Clim 1 Plus from Nestle. It's the only growing up milk with 3-Bio-1 to help protect them from gastrointestinal diseases. Your instinct is to love and protect him. Clim will do the same. Nestle, good food, good life.
Why settle for a one-note cereal? Get more with Honey Bunches of Oats. 4 nutritious grains come together for more taste, more texture, more healthy satisfaction. Have a bowl of happy.
Hey, we're back and sharing a cup with Anslem Douglas this morning here. And he's been out of the scene for a bit, migrated for 20 years, living out in Canada, but he's back in TNT. Anslem Douglas sharing a cup. Thanks so much for being with us, Anslem.
Thank you for having me.
We just before the break, we mentioned about the fact that soca went through the technology phase from say the musical bands with full music, full instruments. Did that hurt soca?
Yes and no. I think we racing and rearing a bunch of entertainers who not very musical, but doing music.
Right, not
so
musicians.
They're not musicians because now somebody don't know how to necessarily need to know how to play a keyboard or to play a bass, but they could produce music, and they call themselves producers. I'm neither here nor there with that, you know. If that floats your boat, hey, you know. But I think there was a time when young people used to go and learn to play an instrument, learn to play horns, and they're not interested in that anymore. And you know, I think how could you be a musician if you can't play music? If you're not going to learn to sing properly? I mean, back in the day we used to go through Anti-K and then 12 and under and Teen Talent and stuff. Yeah, you go through the ranks. I don't know. No. So I think
how much ranks?
Yeah, how much ranks? You just become a general. You know? So just become a general. And so, but from a financial standpoint, I think it made sense because now a band a promoter could fly you out there, and you could go to Germany, you could go to Japan, you could go to wherever to perform. It's easier to move around because you're lighter.
Pros and cons. You know. Pros and cons. Tell me the direction that you want to now take, because as I said, you've 20 years. I said almost a generation may not know of an Anslem Douglas. Now you're back. You would have sang, you would have seen calypso into soca. Now you're back. It's an entirely different scene now. Anslem, the big guns are the big guns. So what's the direction Anslem Douglas wants to take now?
Well, the thing about it is, you can't be in the game. You can't play mass and free public. Right? You got to be current with your music. You know, you got to quote unquote know what's happening. And if you try to go against the grain too much, the blade will get dull. You know. So basically, what happened back in the game now, I gotta still stay current, but try and maintain some Anslem, because I don't want to get lost in the melee. You know, because I think I have a definite voice, a unique kind of voice. When you hear it, you know it. You know, and I don't want to get lost where, who is that again? When Shadow music is played, you know it's Shadow, because he has a vibe and an energy and a signature. When you hear David on a track, that's David. And if you become everybody else, you lose yourself. So you have to find a way to be current, be relevant, but still maintain self. And that's what I'm about.
Is that a bigger challenge than you making it sound? How big a challenge is that?
It's a very big challenge now. Because now, I mean, go back in the day, when Crazy was crazy. And you hear people now on the radio, and it's like, you sound like this one. Because everybody now go to a producer and say, I want to do a tune like that.
All right.
Because, and I like to use the term, everybody looking to eat a food.
Yes.
You know, and nobody, so we building artists but killing art form. You know what I'm saying? We're building artists but killing art form in the process, because it's about art, it's about creativity. And if I am trying to be you, then I'm going to lose who I am. And it's a sad thing when sameness works. Difference is what should sell, not sameness. You know, and I find we're becoming a nation of sameness. Everything had a song the same, because a DJ needs to be able to this mix it into that. And if you're not in the mix, you're not going to be playing.
Because there is now what you call the, help me, somebody where they lay down, in other words, they lay down about 3 or 4 songs on one rhythm. On a rhythm. Thank you. Yeah. They lay down about 3 or 4 songs on one rhythm, and
you had to be in the mix. You had to be in the mix. And even if you're not in the rhythm, you had to be in the same kind of pulse, so that the DJ could mix you in.
Right.
So there you're kind of forced to go in a direction.
So will Anslem Douglas be on a rhythm coming in 2015?
I'm telling you, I'm with it. So I am going to. I was on the 60s with them. Myself and Leel Bain.
Right.
So it's going to be more of that. It's going to be, because you have to stay relevant.
You did some jazz. I think it was back in 2013. I think it was
12, 13, somewhere around.
12, 13,
I did. That's my second smooth jazz / R&B album that I did with a gentleman called my God, Eddie.
Right.
Eddie Boleyn. You know, and he's a wonderful musician, wonderful person, and we work wonderfully together.
You like the jazz?
I love it. I love the movement of it. You know, but what we call in jazz now is it's hardly jazz. You know, it's kind of, we call it smooth jazz.
Okay.
But it's not like hardcore.
Right. Like what John Legend does.
But that's smooth. I would put that smooth jazz. Jazz. You know, if I had to label it in a genre, I'd call it smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz, right? And what do you do? What are you?
I was doing a kind of smooth jazz, kind of neo soul, crossover mix kind of thing. You know.
What was the hit? What was the song?
There was a song on the record called Forever, but and again, that wasn't even in that genre. That was just a song that I wrote.
Yeah.
It's a love song.
You want to give me a song? Give me a song.
It's a love song, right? So,
you're not singing to me, but you go ahead.
You holding my little finger, and you kissing me on my shoulder as I tell you I love you, and you say you love me too. You standing in front of the mirror, you kissing our unborn daughter as I watch you grow. Girl, deep inside I know that this will last forever.
Nice, smooth.
Yeah, kind of easy.
And
there's some very controversial songs on that. There's some really controversial songs on the record too that didn't play because it was very graphic, so it didn't play. But I thought it would have worked underground.
Tell me what you missed most when you were living in Canada. What you missed most about TNT?
Energy, boy. That energy. You just feel that energy building from Tuesday evening.
Yeah. Come in. Now you're feeling from about Tuesday, Yeah, man. Even when you have a new Tuesday, you're feeling from about Tuesday.
It's just that whole thing it passed. Man, Haley out there, drink out there. It's an energy and a vibe and a lime, and I love it. I love it.
It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Never had this opportunity to meet you up close and personal, but it's been a pleasure.
I've been seeing you on TV. All right.
Anslem Douglas sharing a couple of us this morning. Such a pleasure speaking with him. Let's hope you drop by sometime as the end of the year comes closer into the carnival season. Find out what he's all about. He's back here home in TNT after 20 years living in Canada. Great to see him back. Great to have him back. We take a short break. We're coming right back here on A Cup of Joe.
Want to know what you can do with Rani flatbread? You give steak a slice, lay pieces on Rani, sprinkle spice, add grated cheese and sweet peppers with a dice, and finish by rolling it up real nice.
Now that's a Rani good idea.
There's really one bank you can depend on, one bank that leads the way. Technology and systems separate us from the rest. Republic gives only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
We're back, and it's getting a little excited as we get into our expert segment. We're moving it and changing it up a little differently today. We're moving into the Purple Dragon Dojo. We're talking self-defense, the hows and whys of self-defense. Why should you learn self-defense? Is it important at all to know self-defense? We have the very esteemed Purple Dragon Dojo here with us, Representatives Nicole Thomas and Anthony Thompson. And your title is Shean Nicole Thomas and Shean Anthony Thompson.
That's quite right.
What is Shean?
Well, first, thank you so much for having us here. My name is Anthony Thompson. I'm a representative of Professor Don Jacob. We practice a system, a style, and a lifestyle called Donjitsu. The reasons for self-defense is simple. Professor Jacob taught us it's not just self-defense, it's life defense.
Life defense.
You need to protect your life, and with the rising crime rate and whatnot, it's imperative that everyone knows some sort of self-defense in order to live and protect their families and whatnot. Shihan. Shihan means master. It's a Japanese term. In our system, when you become a black belt, you now start to learn. That's when you begin to learn. From a black belt, you become an instructor when you are second degree, and then you become a senpai when you're third degree, and then you become a sensei when you're fourth degree, and then you become a she-hand when you are 6 degree.
Okay.
Like my friend here, she had Nico.
But you're 8 degree.
Yes, I am.
So you're up in the clouds somewhere. Why are you 8 degree? You're
Well,
8 degree black belt.
8 degree black belt, and I went through all the degrees, all the way up there.
Right. 8 degree is the highest.
No. Professor Jacob is a 9 degree.
He's a 9 degree.
That's right, and he is the Soki or the founder of the system.
Right. Describe the system to me, Nicole, just because the system that he's talking about. What is the system used at Purple Dragon?
All right. As Shian Thompson mentioned earlier, that the system is a lifestyle. Donjutsu. The acronym of Donjutsu, which is D, means determination to win. Now, O means to overcome all challenges. All challenges is not just in terms of like a physical challenges, because we have students that from a very young age right up to adults. So when you tell a student to overcome all challenges, you're dealing with the juniors when they're at school, not to be influenced by negativity and to be influenced by positivity. So when you said overcome all challenges, yes, we have challenges, and those are the things that contribute towards making us who we are. So as a challenge, when you say overcome all challenges, you say to yourself, don't allow yourself to go the negative way, but surpass yourself by going the positive. Choose. You always have choices. You understand? We say N, no to drugs and crime. Drugs and crime is not the physical abuse of actually taking substance into your body, but the thought process of the negativity as well. That's also a drug. And it's a crime for you to allow yourself that opportunity to take in that influence, that toxin into your body in terms of mental, and bring it out to the outwards.
Self-defense and life defense is a lot mental as well. It's very mental. It's mental strength.
Well, it is a lot of mental strength because, as Shian Thompson mentioned to you, what we do is not just a style, but it's a lifestyle. Because everything that we learn from the dojo is being applied outside the dojo. It's more effective when we go outside there, because that's the opportunity that we get to actually practice what it is we learn at the dojo. So it is a lifestyle in terms of where Donjutsu is concerned.
You would encourage ladies to get involved in learning self-defense?
I would encourage ladies or anybody.
But hit my ladies first.
Ladies?
Because some ladies may say, well, look, this outfit is not for me. This is the gi is not for me. So how do you tell the ladies, listen, you should be getting involved, you should be learning basic self-defense?
All right. No, when you learn basic self-defense in terms of where Purple Dragon is concerned, it's not necessary you have to wear a gi. We have self-defense courses as well for ladies
could look a little pretty.
that don't want to wear a gi. Because some people is of the mindset that the only time you can defend yourself is if you're in a gi. So that we are the perspective in terms of when you come to the dojo, if you don't want to wear gi, whereas the discipline part where you have to stand up and do certain things, and you just want to learn the self-defense aspect of it, you can do that because we have self-defense classes. It's very important that women learn self-defense because, as I said, it's not just physical, because self-defense in terms of your finance, you have to defend your finance. You understand? In terms of your thought process, you have to defend your thought process. So self-defense is not just in terms of, that is the lifestyle, and that is what Purple Dragon Donjutsu.
And it's not just physical.
It's not just physical.
And Anthony, because also there's a perception out there, and I think, of course, based on ignorance, that it's violence. And self-defense has absolutely nothing to do with violence.
Yes, that's right. It's quite the opposite. It's not violence, because the self-defense is fighting, but fighting back. An attack was brought on you, and you have to fight back and defend yourself. That is self-defense. Martial arts on the whole is not violence, because the underpinning, the basic ingredient in doing any martial arts is discipline. We practice discipline. Discipline means knowing what is right and doing it at all times. Is it right for me to defend myself, or should I let somebody take advantage of me? It's right for me to defend myself, so I learned to do that.
So, Mr. Thompson, if it is Shian Thompson, let me get it right before you, because I know how to defend myself. If someone comes to you and says, listen, I want to learn to fight. I want to learn to fight. Nothing about self-defense. I want to learn to fight. What would be your response?
That's a very good question, because a lot of people, that's the question. I want to learn to fight. I say, well, sure. Come on and join Purple Dragon. We'll teach you to fight. And we'll teach you to do more than fight. We teach you to fight back. Because a lot of people could fight, but when they see there's a difference between a warrior and a fighter, a soldier. You see, a warrior will fight even when the odds are against them. Most people will fight when they have the partners with them or whatnot, or if they see, well, it looked like I could win. We teach people to fight back, and fighting back means even though the odds look like they're not in my favor. Listen, partner, don't attack me because I'm going to hurt some part of you. Yeah, you might win the fight, but both of us will be going for treatment at the hospital because you're going down too. You see, it's a mindset. Fighting back, doing life defense is a mindset. You can have all these skills, but you don't have that mental fortitude that, hey, I have to defend myself. I have to take my salary home to my wife and my kids home. And I have to do that, so I go into it.
You guys just, a couple of weeks ago, came back from Japan. Purple Dragon doing big things. Tell me about that trip.
All right. Japan, that trip was an awesome trip. One of the reasons for me being saying that it was an awesome trip, it was a huge team, a team of 47. We went to Japan from all over the country and stuff like that. We had from, Cayman Islands, from BVI, from Tortola, from Canada, it was from Antigua, it was from USA, it was a really, really good trip. And one of the things that I would say that it was so amazing because of the lack of another word to express it is that to see that Purple Dragon on the whole, what we practice here at a dojo level, and you go to Japan and you see an entire country is practicing this. It's amazing. It's amazing because what it does for you is that it gives you it confirms and it affirms what it is you're doing, that you're really doing something right and something positive, helping these young individuals and also the adults. People saying that when you tell an adult, a person, let's say an adult, a person 24 or 30 years of age, say, why don't you join martial arts? They will tell you, I'm too old, I can't doing this. You went to Japan, you went to the Bokokokai, one of the oldest school of institution of martial arts, and you've seen people of 53 years of age practicing martial arts.
Serious.
That was the youngest person.
That was the youngest person?
Yes. The woman who was demonstrating Kyoto for us, she was 78.
Wow.
And her since he was there, he was 85.
Yeah.
And you say,
wow.
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
My good friend Gary Hunt is in the background, and he's coming to do a little, he'll be doing part of a performance. Can I go to the performance?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us what we're going to see now.
She and Gary Hunt will be stepping on the floor to do some simple, basic self-defense moves. Like if somebody should try to punch you or try to grab your hand, what you can do. Simple, but very effective, because simplicity in itself, when you come into self-defense, trying to go too complicated, you could get hurt.
Right.
Being simple, basic, down to the point, striking the eyes, the throat, the groin, soft areas where you can have immediate results, that's what works.
All right, guys, we're going to take a look at that. Thank you so much, Sheehan Thompson and Sheehan Thomas. Let's check it out. Starring Gary Hunt, he is going to be in action right here.
A common attack, physical attack in the street will be a person stepping forward, chucking you, okay? You step back. So the first check, say thank you very much, thank you. Control the wrist, down, press down, kick, lock up. Okay, holding the wrist in real speed. So he comes. Thank you. So you're just being gracious. Thank you. Okay, second attack, this person will come swinging at you. So slow speed, block, strike to the solar plexus, up to the throat, elbow strike. Take the guy up. Okay, simple strike. So strike. Alright. Person, third attack, person grabbing your hand, you're walking down the street, want to grab you have a bag, a briefcase, grab. First thing, strike to the hand, control your wrist over here, hold the hand properly, take up, break the arm, okay? So we go here. Here, strike, and break. Okay? Thank you. First attack. Person grabs her hand, she releases, frees her wrist, elbow strike, palm heel strike to the face, and knee strike to the groin. And she's striking to the nose bridge, she's going to take his nose straight up into his skull. Real speed. Very deadly, very precise technique. Right. Okay, good. Okay, person coming to slap, block, strike to the throat, strike to the eye, groin, and the rib cage. And he's done. Real speed. Technique. All right. Okay. Grab in here. Strike his feet. Lock to the arm, break, strike to the knee. All at pressure points. Okay? So she's striking to the solar plexus. So one more time. Slow it down. Grab. Do not panic. Stamp to the feet. Break the arm. Strike to the solar plexus. Strike to the groin. Break in the knee. Palm heel to the back of the head or the temple. One more time. Okay. Next technique. Okay. These techniques takes years of practice and repetition to be like this. Since he has been practicing for several years, over 10 years, she's a 4th-degree black belt. So it takes time and effort. But the person in the street can, with our expert training at Donjitsu and Purple Dragon, they will be able to arm themselves with the techniques in a few months to be able to defend themselves effectively so that they can be walking the streets safely and safeguard their family and friends.
Want to know what you can do with Rani flatbread? You give steak a slice, lay pieces on Rani, sprinkle spice, add grated cheese and sweet peppers with a dice, and finish by rolling it up real nice.
Now that's a Rani good idea.
There's really one bank you can depend on, one bank that leads the way. Technology and systems separate us from the rest. Republic gives only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
Moving from our experts, which we had some fun with as far as self-defense goes, now we move on to our Cup for a Cause segment. And the cause that we're dealing with today, it's an international organization by the name of PSI. It's an acronym for Population Services International. I have the marketing and the communications manager here of the local arm of the organization. I think he's actually the Caribbean marketing manager, Mr. Kevin Fodringham. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let me just get it, because PSI, I think what you'll be most known for in terms of in recent years, over the last decade or so, would have been the Got It, Get It program. Got it, get it. We got that? We got that. But you're much more than that. Outside of being HIV awareness, tell us what PSI represents and what you're about.
Okay. Well, PSI, as you said, is global. So we operate in 70 countries across the world. But in the Caribbean region, we operate in 12 English-speaking countries across the region. And the head office is here. So I'm based here. The head office is here? Yeah. And we manage the region from here. PSI came to the region in 2005, and we launched the Gotta Get It campaign in 2006. And was really, as you said, it was HIV and condoms and that kind of thing. So
I remember you were pushing condoms on people.
Exactly. We were pushing condoms on people.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, that's where the burden of disease lay. So we focused on whatever the burden of disease is. So HIV was very prevalent back in that time, and also that is where funding was. So we had the campaign, it has been going strong, but we moved into sexual and reproductive health more broadly. So we dealt with stuff like cervical cancer and unwanted pregnancies and stuff like that. So our campaign moved there. But now, the HIV prevalence has sort of diminished, and it's not really the top of the burden of disease. So we're moving into non-communicable diseases now, because lifestyle cancers and hypertension, that is what's killing people. So that is where the problem is. So we have to diversify. We have to move. We have to move there now.
All right. So come on. Can I get you something to drink? I mean,
glass of white wine.
Glass of white wine. White wine. The man knows what he wants.
Of course.
Come on. So in other words, PSI, Population Services International. I'm trying to just understand the acronym as it applies to your focus on diseases, health. Yeah. Just make that connection for me.
Well, PSI started with family planning. So when they started back in the 70s, it was around family planning. But we have since broadened. So in some of our countries, like in Africa, we have malaria programs, we have safe water programs. And what's different about PSI as an entity is that, yes, we are an NGO, but we practice what is called social marketing. So it's using public sector and private sector type of marketing techniques, but to influence behavior change. So all these smoking campaigns and whatnot, that's social marketing. So we have our branded campaigns to influence change. What's really exciting now is that we haven't been able to work much here because we are donor funded. So, and Trinidad is considered to be developed. So a lot of we are. In the donor world, we are. So our funding has really had to go to the smaller islands, but we manage stuff from here.
How would you say Trinidad and Tobago is benefiting? I mean, I remember the got to get it obviously would be standing out in my mind, but how is Trinidad and Tobago benefiting from PSI?
Well, what's very exciting is that this year we're launching a brand new campaign focused around gender-based violence prevention.
Gender-based violence prevention.
So that's domestic violence in its broader sense. And that's focused specifically here in Trinidad. So the first time we're having a campaign that's going to be focused home for the first time. And that should launch within the next few months. And it's in partnership with Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' wife. So that's where the funding is coming from for that particular project. So we're looking for partners now. We're working with the domestic violence, all the domestic violence partners to really get that off the ground within the next few months.
So it's going to be a big educational drive.
Education and service. So what we do is we provide the education via the ads and the campaigns and all of that. But we have our educators who go into the field and reach out to those most at risk. So we'll have a team of educators going into different communities where gender-based violence is very prevalent, and really try to address that because it is spiking right now. I mean, if you look at the news, there are lots of domestic violence cases and a lot end in death.
And how is PSI going to be dealing with? Actually, is it a prevention scenario?
More, it's like education. So it's going to be a 3-year project starting this year. So the first year is really about educating and about teaching people about gender norms, because it starts with the young people and the whole idea of gender norms, that men's supposed to be this and women's supposed to be that, and that's what fosters the gender-based violence. So we want to get into the schools, get into the youth type programs and build it from there.
I like that, because in other words, it's not a quick fix thing you're looking at.
Can't fix it now.
It's a 3-year program of sustained educational stuff out there. Sounds interesting. Let me just go back to the disease, because I think you started disease oriented. And you mentioned
gender-based violence is also considered a disease.
Interesting. But you said it moved away, I suppose, back in the early 2000s to now, where cancer seems to be one of the biggest plagues.
Actually, in Trinidad, I think it's cardiovascular diseases. That's the top killer.
And how is PSI dealing with that? Is that also educating people as to how to?
Well, we're trying to get into it because there is no funding for it, and we are donor funded. So we have to try to seek funding. We have been developing a lot of our proposals and partnerships. So this year our aim is to really get into that field. So whether it's partnering with the government or with private entities or with international donors, is really to try to get in there, because really we want to focus where there's the most need. So we are mandated to get into those areas that we can make an impact.
Ebola, I mean, as we're talking disease, Ebola is now big news across the world. Thankfully, I suppose it hasn't really affected the Caribbean much yet, but is that under your radar as well?
Not for the Caribbean program, but the African programs. If it does get further out of hand, then they would have to try to create some sort of a response to it.
And come on, because the Caribbean, so you mentioned Trinidad and Tobago considered developed. That surprised me just a bit in terms of international.
You serious?
Yeah, because I suppose in terms of what we know as first world, and when we compare here at home, it just seems that like for instance, I mean, before now, outside of, if you only got it, get it, it may have clicked.
Yeah,
but PSI didn't click, and I can't help but ask why. Why don't we know about what an organization such as yours
the entity
is doing on the ground?
Traditionally, we have not marketed the organization, so we market
PSI.
our brands.
Right. Okay.
So, if you go to the DR or if you go to Haiti, there's a brand of condom called Pante.
Okay.
Which is the leading condom in Haiti and the DR, and that's PSI owned.
Okay.
So we don't really promote the organization. We promote our brands and our campaigns. But in the Caribbean sense, now we have to start promoting PSI.
Okay.
To address these other areas that we need to get into.
So your latest project as we wrap has to do with
gender-based violence
prevention,
and that
that's
we
going to
should start seeing things coming out in the next 2 months or so.
Yeah, 2 months, and it's going to be over the next 3 years, as you said.
Yes.
All forms of media.
Everything.
Yeah. So and
Similarly, got to get it.
But is it that you're going to go directly, like for instance, if it is someone is experiencing gender-based violence in some sort, is it that you have arms that can deal with communication direct one-on-one? You have
Correct.
those.
So we don't implement per se. We work through our different partners. So there's the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and
So
we would work through them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So it's not a directly contacting PSI.
No, we work through the partners.
Excellent. But no, I mean, keep us in mind in terms of when things are launched and when we start seeing things, because
I'll come back.
Yeah, no, welcome back. You can come back, because that is one of the things, as you said, affecting not only TNT, the wider Caribbean.
Correct.
It's been a major problem. So we're looking forward to seeing what will come out of it over the next 3-year period. Kevin, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right.
Thanks for having me.
That's PSI, Inside Our Cup for a Cause, another wonderful organization, and it's an international organization with, of course, an arm here in TNT and the Caribbean. Taking a short break here on A Cup of Joe. We are coming right back.
There's really one bank you can depend on. Friendly service every day. There's really one standard of treating you like you deserve to be. Yeah. Republic gives only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
Hello there. I'm sure you recognize him, but you may not know me. I'm Mr. Peanut's stunt double. I used to go by Mr. Peanut Butter, but somebody thought I was infringing on his trademark. So now I have to go by Doug. Peanut Butter Doug. Roll it!
Cut. Action. Cut.
Amazing stuff. You paying attention over there? That's called acting. That's what separates the real actors. I'm okay. Introducing Planters Peanut Butter. Naturally remarkable.
On this happy Monday, we end things off on that serious, thought-provoking note, as we have grown accustomed this season on A Cup of Joe. It's called our Spoken Word Spotlight, where we have a spoken word artist every Monday and Wednesday.
Yes.
Abigail Jackson, who is this lovely lady standing next to me?
This lovely lady is actually, I would call her sister. I would call her sister of mine. Yes. She is a Naparima Girls High School alum. Naps Girls Rule. Yes. But she's also very, very talented in terms of being a spoken word artist. She's been involved with UE Speaks, the 2 Cents Movement. She's in law school. So this is a lady.
A lot of things.
Hello, this is a lady who has a lot to say and is quite capable of saying it.
Leel Bain.
Leel.
L-E-E.
But there's an accent to the first E to give it.
There's an accent?
Yeah.
There's an accent? Where is the accent?
It's on the first E.
The first E, the accent is on the first E. It's Leel Bain.
She's our spoken word artist. You completely destroyed the serious moment. She's our spoken word artist for today. And we will allow Leel to introduce her piece, and we'll chat with her after.
The stage is yours, ma'am.
The dead are gone, but not forgotten. Ironically, living men are often forgotten like that toothbrush when packing. We brush past them like a rotten tooth, treat them like a cavity, pain. We snap at men and focus on women because men only bring negatives. Zoom out. Picture this. I'm looking through a different lens, so lend your ear, because I have come to the resolution that we need a revolution in our thinking. Because we tell women, find a good man. You taking that crap? Nah, man. Don't make that man take advantage of you, man. That man hits you? He better run, because the only one who could protect him is the man. For validation space, you don't need to jump in the sack and take man, and we hit the sack and sleep well because we have empowered the woman. But I am restless, and I question, what about the man? Woe is man. Because little boys could be gyrating on Soca Monarch stage and getting well rating. If that was a little girl, I swear everybody would have been hating, because apparently men are the only sexual predators and females are always the prey. And I pray, or let's see what I saying. Ping, what kind of messages are we sending? What's up with that? What vibe are we giving off? Folded arms, emoticon. Pensive, emoticon. SMH, I'm confused, emoticon. Don't give me that not interested face, emoticon, because this is relevant. A man will hit a woman and everybody wants a gallivant and rant. A woman hits a man, but she can't mash a ant, so he has to put on a poker face. I ain't no joker, I'm king. Any woman could hit me, blackjack. Meanwhile, she has him on all fours and he has to take it in solitary, because to speak out would be a gamble. And I marvel how we remember Dr. Octopus and Magneto, and we forget there are female villains also, like Poison Ivy and Mystique. And this is not comical, because we are so busy calling them little buggers that we forget that some of them have also been buggered. We're so busy raising up women, we forget to honor good men. We partial, telling women to respect their private parts, but don't men have those also? And we have the balls to tell women respect themselves, because men are the usual suspects. But I could have swear every woman was circumspect, and I introspect. And in retrospect, we disrespect men often, spoil our future prospects for happiness because we demonize them in every aspect. We double standard. Who set these standards? Back it up. Find a man who courts you, loves you, treats you well, isn't in a rush to undress you. But don't men deserve these things too? We put the vagina on a pedestal, and that's incredible. But let's not forget that the penis is also tenable.
Well.
We usually talk about female rights, don't we?
Yeah.
Well,
she brought it back.
She brought it back.
Yeah.
We talk about female rights, and those are valid points as well. But sometimes, a lot of the times, we do forget about our boys. Forget about our boys. We forget about who eventually become our men, and then we bash men. But we forgot them when they were children. We gave them the wrong tools and fed them the wrong stories and the wrong ideas.
And it is a reality that men in society are not allowed to be emotional without seeming
effeminate or weak or something of that nature. Yes.
And that I think is how she brought it back well. I love the piece. I love it.
Of course.
Thank you.
This one was for you, Joel.
That one was for me?
This one was for you, Joel.
How many of them are for me?
Thank you so much, Leel.
Thank you, Leel.
Brilliantly written and well performed. So
Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes you don't have to say very much after these pieces. I just want people to reflect on it maybe at a different point during the day and start a conversation. That's what these pieces are about. Start conversations. And
spread the word, because if it is that you missed us in the daytime, folks, you can catch us anytime on our YouTube channel. Search Villa Info Productions Studio on YouTube, and all these pieces on Monday and Wednesday are available. You can check it out.
Check it out and share it with a friend. Share the link with a friend.
Information.
If you also want to find us on Facebook or Twitter, look for us at Cup of Joe TT, and you can also send us an email at acupofjoett@gmail.com. Thank you so much to the folks at Drink. Thank you to Amanda of Faces of Belle Rouge. And we'll do this again on Friday.
On Friday? Friday? You're ready for Friday?
I'm ready.
You have to drop by a Friday. You won't understand how exciting it is if you don't drop by a Friday here on A Cup of Joe. We are wrapping up, folks, and I will wrap up on this camera to tell you, join us on a Friday for A Cup of Joe. We will be right back here, same time, same place. Do enjoy the rest, whatever you're having in your cup, enjoy.